Hello all, welcome to Pamita A World. My name is Pamita Singh Kandari. So all the students, English medium students who are learning logical reasoning through me, in my last video I was teaching you logical reasoning and analytical ability, and I have elaborate all the details about these three terms: what logic means, what reasoning means, and what analytical ability means. But in this video I'm gonna teach you what are the next part in logical reasoning and analytical ability. So I was teaching you about the formal logic. I left my last video on the topic that I told you that in my next video I'll teach you formal logic. What is formal logic? So formal logic is generally concerned with drawing or inferring conclusions from given premises and judging the validity of statement and conclusion. Fine. And for that, the knowledge of language means words and meanings of the particular sentence is very essential to is a very essential in logical reasoning and analytical ability. So what does that mean? What I am saying here, the topic is logical reasoning and analytical ability. What I'm gonna teach you here, analytical ability. What is formal logic here? Formal logic. Formal logic is nothing formal logic is formal logic is concerned with drawing or inferring conclusions from given premises and judging the validity of statements and conclusions. Judging the validity of statement and conclusion. So in nutshell, what happened is there is one premises is given. Premises or sentence, we can say it sentence, fine. And from that premises and sentence we draw conclusion, we infer or draw conclusion, fine. And after drawing that conclusion, we judge the validity of statement and conclusion, fine. Judge the validity of statements and conclusion. That is called formal logic. Formal logic is nothing but particular sentence or sentences or premises are given in a topic, and from that premises and sentences we draw some conclusion, and when we after drawing that conclusion we check the validity of that conclusion from that particular sentences, whether that conclusion is supporting the sentences or not. This is called formal logic. Fine. Formal logic can be of two types. Formal logic can be of two types. One is deductive and one is inductive. Deductive and inductive. Deductive is what? Deductive is when it is impossible for the conclusion to be false. To be false when all the premises are true. When all the premises are true. Fine. It means when all the sentences are false. When all the sentences or premises are true. In formal logic, when all the sentences or premises are true, then it is impossible for the conclusion to be false. That is called deductive. And now opposite of this would be inductive. Fine. Formal logic of two type, deductive and inductive. ठीक है. When it is impossible for the conclusion to be true, when all the premises are false. Now, what does that mean? I'll give you one example in formal logic. What does that mean? Example I'll give you in my next page. When it is impossible for the conclusion to be false when all the premises or sentences are true. Just take it as an example. That formal logic is drawn from arguments. Fine. So formal logic, to draw some logic, we will draw some logic only from arguments. Fine. Without arguments we cannot draw the logic. So argument is given. Arguments are given somewhere. Fine. An argument is nothing but is a set of proposition. Any set of propositions. As any set of propositions. Fine. And that set of propositions are content of sentence that affirms or denies something and is capable of true or false. Fine. Content of sentence that affirms or denies something and is capable of true or false. Fine. Arguments. And from that argument we draw formal logic. And how we draw formal logic? Whether we apply deductive or whether we apply inductive. So just jump to directly to an example. What happened in deductive arguments? In deductive arguments, the premises necessitate the conclusion. The conclusion. That is called deductive arguments. So I'll give you one example here about the deductive arguments. What is that? Fine. So example of deductive arguments are, I'll give you one example. In exam, what they gives in exams, fine, or in competitive exams. All men are mortals. All men are mortal. Number 2, A is a man. Number 3, therefore A is mortal. Fine. First, what you are seeing, first and foremost thing, what you are watching in this thing, what you would say, what is given to you, what is presented to you. There are 3 sentences, or we can say there are 3 proposition or premises are given to you. Fine. And these 3 proposition or premises are denoting something. What they are denoting? They are denoting, they are supporting something in these arguments. Fine. There is one argument. What is that argument? Argument is all men are mortal. Fine. If you closely watch these things, you can see there are some common things in all these sentences. What is the common thing? Man. Man is common here. Okay? Man came 2 times and mortal also came 2 times. So in these type of arguments or deductive arguments or statement or conclusion, what you all the students should focus, that what is the common in all the sentences when you draw the answer. When you draw the answer, you just have to see that what is the common in all these sentences. Fine. So you are watching that man is common in all these sentences. Fine. Mortal, mortal, and man, man. These things are common. So what, now you have seen these things are common. Now you have to see what is they are saying. All men are mortal. So for all, just draw like this. All means draw that one circle. It means all. Men are mortal. Fine. Now see what they are saying. A is a man. So one is, just see that one is mortal and one is man. One is man. That thing you have to draw separately in your rough paper. That is man. These 2 things are common here. Mortal and man. These 2 terms came 2 times. So all men are mortal. They are saying, so all men means man would come here. Man would come here. It means, this means all men are mortal. Fine. We cannot say that all mortal are men. This is not saying this, all mortal are men. This is saying, this is wrong. Fine. This is saying all men are mortal. This statement is saying this. This is not saying all mortal are men. This is the correct draw Venn diagram. This is right Venn diagram. Fine. So this is the thing. You, all men are mortal. This is the correct Venn diagram for first sentence. First sentence. First we have to draw the Venn diagram of such type of arguments, and after that we'll jump to the second statement. This is saying A is a man. So when they say A is a man, in this circle where A would come? A is a man. So man, where is man? Man in this circle. Man is here. So of course A would come under man. Fine. A would come under man. So in the end what it is saying, therefore A is a mortal. So it is correct. Of course it is correct. A is a mortal. A is a mortal because all men are mortal and A is a man. So therefore A is a mortal. So this is what this is called. This is called deductive arguments. Deductive arguments is what? It is impossible for the conclusion. What is conclusion here? Third statement is conclusion. Fine. Third statement is conclusion. It is impossible for the conclusion to be false. ये false नहीं है. This is not false. Fine. This cannot be false, that A is not a mortal. Fine. Why this cannot be false? Because all the premises are true. Fine. All men are mortal? There is no negative sentence. There is not came that all men are not mortal. And here it is saying A is a man. Fine. So what if it was written that A is not a man? So negative sentence came. So negative sentence cannot represent the positive conclusion. Fine. So that is called deductive logic in logical reasoning. So it is quite simple if you will see. And if such type of questions comes in front of you, you should have to check the, first you have to draw the conclusion, you have to draw the Venn diagram correctly. And each and every sentence diagram, Venn diagram, you have to draw in front of that sentence in rough paper. Fine, in rough paper or whatever sheets they provide you. And for the second also, you have to first check that what common words or sentences are given to you, and that common words and sentences, draw one circle and check what they are saying, and after that just draw like what I showed to you. Fine. And after that just check what they are saying. In deductive arguments they are saying that if all the premises are false, then conclusion would also be false. If all the premises are true, then conclusion also be true. And if one premise is true and one premise is false, then the next conclusion would be in somewhere in between of that. We would watch this thing in our next video. For today's video, this is enough for you for arguments. Fine. We'll see many questions related to these things, and this is the basics of arguments in under logical and reasoning. And for today this is enough, and please keep watching and learning. Keep learning and happy learning. Thanks a lot. Thank you for trusting Pamita World 18.